was thinking the other day, I have a story about when my son was about 2 years old. I had a babysitter. It was New Year's Eve, and I was at a friend's house decorating for a New Year's Eve party we were gonna have. And my 5-year-old daughter was there with the babysitter and my 2-year-old son. And my bedroom was a disaster. It was just that time, that season of life where, picking up laundry and doing, all the cleaning and everything was a lot. And I remember saying to my 5-year-old daughter, like, whatever you do, don't let anybody in the bedroom because it's messy and I don't want them in my messy bedroom. Well, I get a call from the babysitter, who actually is one of my clients today, all these years later, and she said, "We cannot find your son, Brandon." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, "Well, I was playing with Brianna and Brandon, kind of went somewhere and then I couldn't find him." And I said, "Well, have you looked everywhere?" And she's like, "Yes, I've looked everywhere." And I said, "Well, call your mom, see if she can help you look, and call." And I kind of gave her some of the neighbors' names that we had and see if they can help you. And she said, "We already have. They've all been looking." And I said, "Okay, I'm on my way over." And so I jumped in my car. I remember pulling up to my street. It was starting to get dark, and we lived by a lake in Lake Arbor, and it started to scare me, thinking, I wonder if he went to the lake. He's lost. Where is he? My little 2-year-old baby. And as I pull into my street, I see all the neighbors, like dozens of people out. They're looking behind bushes, and they're looking under cars, and they're looking everywhere, and my heart just sank. And I got home and I said, we need to call the police. If the police haven't been called yet, we need to call the police. And so we called the police, and the police officer came, and he was like, "Well, where might he be?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I thought, I'll look in the dryer, because he would kind of want to crawl into the dryer. I looked in the dryer and he wasn't there. I went up to my bedroom, and on my bed was this big pile of laundry that was unfolded, just like clean laundry on the bed. And for some reason, I just took all the laundry and took it and threw it on the floor, and there he was, fast asleep. So that story, I was thinking about that story, and what it made me think about was how community, when you're a young mom, you have little kids, all the things, all the chaos that goes on, the worries, all the responsibilities, and how meaningful it was to me that community stepped in to help, and that everybody was out there trying to help me find my lost little 2-year-old. And so one of the services that we have as a worthy cause is they help moms, new moms, young moms, who have decided not to place their children for adoption, but to parent them and to keep them and to raise them on their own. And sometimes those moms need extra help. Sometimes it's a place to live, sometimes it's diapers or financial support for their family. And Colorado Christian Services is an organization that, while they are an adoption service organization and they help to put families together, they also help keeping families together. And they are there in the times that it matters for these young moms, for these people who need community, need someone to be able to give them a hand and help them up. And so every time you give us a referral of somebody who's looking to buy or sell a home, and they end up buying or selling with us, we are able to make a donation to Colorado Christian Services, as well as other organizations that are there to help these moms. And so I don't know if you really understand the impact that it has on lives, but it is a great impact. So I wanted to just thank you. I thank you for all of the times that you support us. I thank you from a standpoint that we're able to serve so many families, and we're able to serve them in buying and selling houses, but we're able to serve them in other meaningful ways, and that is through donations to organizations like CCS. So if you happen to think of anybody who's looking to buy or sell, please give us a call. Think of us and give us a call. I've got one of our letters, the Letter of the Heart, that is going to be going out in the mail here real soon, and you'll be getting some more information on that. And so read through it and just think of us whenever you know someone that's looking to buy or sell. Thank you so much. We always appreciate you. Have a great spring, and we'll talk soon.